and welcome to sayreportjr, a podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading each week. I am one of your co-hosts, Dale Decker.
And I'm your other co-host, Zach Sarowick, and you have way more energy than you did 5 seconds before you hit record.
It's all fake. It is all fake. I literally screamed my name, and I feel kind of bad about that. There was a half a second when I started the episode, and I'm like, what am I doing? Oh God. I have to introduce.
What's going on?
I have to introduce the episode. It was another clean opening, kinda.
We're getting the list right at the beginning now. We're figuring that out.
The thing that
the thing that I have said now 80 something times at the beginning of Nuzlocke things I've recorded, and I still can't get it right week to week. Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. It's fine. The energy. It's not. I guess it's not fake, but it is. It's like tired energy.
Oh yeah, that I need to be energetic or I'll pass out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get it. You get it. Yeah. So, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. It's been for a week where I've done almost nothing. Like literally Sunday, I realized this from Saturday night when I had to work Saturday.
Yeah.
So from Saturday night when I got home to Monday morning when I went to work, I don't think I left my house. And I was like, whoa, hold on.
Oh,
At some point on Sunday night, I turned around and went, have I even opened my front door today?
I did see your tweet about apologizing to Britain because English doors lock in the inside, so if you lose your key, you're screwed.
And I'm like, yeah, I did that by choice today. Whoa.
At that point, you just got to go outside for a second.
Just get some air. Just look at the sky.
Get the vitamin D, It
was already dark out by the time I realized what had happened, so.
That sucks. Did you know that New England is really, really, bad with vitamin D deficiencies?
That doesn't surprise me. Everybody locks themselves in their house.
Yeah, a lot of people. I don't think it's just New England, but, apparently, yeah. Anyways, that was your quick tidbit of the day.
That's a quick health update. Everybody go outside. Look at the sun.
Go outside and look at the sun.
Stare right into it. Burn your eyes out. That's your health tip.
Mr. Sun came out and he smiled at me.
Oh, my God.
Said it's gonna be a hot one. Just wait and see. On Saturday, it was the 12-year anniversary of that episode of SpongeBob. In case people didn't know what that was from.
I don't need to think about how old I am. Sometimes I think about the fact that SpongeBob premiered in 1999 and that we're about to hit the 20-year anniversary of it.
Yeah.
And I scream it internally.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I remember the day it happened because it was right after the Kids' Choice Awards, 1999, because they were making a big deal out of the fact that they were premiering this new Nicktoon after the Kids' Choice Awards, and it's the episode that you cannot find anywhere. I think they finally put it on the season 3 DVDs, but it took them so long to be able to put the pilot episode of SpongeBob on a DVD because of the Tiny Tim song.
Yep.
When he makes
the stuff for the
special
minnows.
spatula for all the minnows. Yes.
Yep. It's a great piece of television.
Oh, it's so good. And I was so mad when they came out on DVD and I bought it and I was like, finally, I can watch where is it? Oh my God. Oh. That was the year I learned about licensing problems on DVD releases.
The craziest thing about SpongeBob was there's a lot of episodes that I remember, and there was one how they had the pirate guy, which I can't think of his name. I think maybe Pete the pirate. I don't remember. That's just a name.
I mean, Tom. You mean when Tom Kenny,
yeah,
the voice of SpongeBob, would be there as the pirate?
As the pirate. Which I can't remember his name right now, and it really upsets me.
I remember he would just talk to Polly all the time.
He would talk to Polly all the time,
really
right?
Crazy puppet parrot.
And Polly was the best. Polly the parrot was the best because he was so sassy. But
it was basically like watching Pirate Pee-wee, which was great.
Yeah,
like
pretty
Pee-wee Herman
much.
Pirate.
It was great. It was fantastic. But there was so they started doing specials with him, and there was one where it was the lost episode of SpongeBob, and it was an hour long, just showing clips from SpongeBob, and it was just SpongeBob walking down the street, and it
was just a walk cycle. What are you talking about, Polly?
Yes, exactly.
All of that build up for a 5-minute walk cycle.
Yes, Yes, exactly. Oh God, SpongeBob. And then like SpongeBob now is just like SpongeBob's always been weird, but it's always been fun weird. Like it's always been like you're not trying too hard, SpongeBob, but you're still an enjoyable thing. Now it's just weird to watch. It's just like Fairly Odd Parents. It's weird to watch now.
I think what might be my favorite. I don't. We're talking about this now, so sure. What might be my
whatever,
favorite
it's
episode of SpongeBob, because it's the one that like blew my mind about so many other episodes, is the one where they finally give away, quote unquote, the secret ingredient, the secret recipe to the Krabby Patty, and it's just a burger.
Yeah.
It's just the secret, because for years that was always the question, was like when they say secret recipe, what do they mean?
Yeah.
What do they mean by secret recipe? They mean the meat is made a certain way? Is it spiced a certain way? What is it exactly? What is it exactly that Plankton is trying to get? Then you have the episode where they have to wait overnight in the freezer for the patty delivery.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I was like, wait a second, why are they waiting for frozen patties if they have their own recipe for patties? That doesn't make sense. And then you have this whole episode that builds up to finally giving away the secret to the Krabby Patty, and it's just a burger. We put a patty on a bun with lettuce and tomato and cheese and mustard and onions, and then the top of the bun, and that's the secret recipe.
Ravioli, give me the formioli.
Where it's like we have a secret bun, secretly topped with the secret Krabby Patty and the secret tomatoes. It's like, oh my God, Plankton's been trying to steal these friggin' step-by-step ingredient guide to how to put tomatoes on top of a patty.
So the next I think it's one of the newest episodes of SpongeBob, because they're doing like promos for it, or they were, is SpongeBob lost the secret formula, so he doesn't know how to cook a Krabby Patty anymore. And he's like, you've been doing it for a real long time, SpongeBob.
So
but
20
no.
years, and you literally, all you've ever done is stuck it on top of a grill.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah. So there was like in the promo for it, it's SpongeBob getting on like a bus, and he's like, I've never cooked it. Well, that's a really bad SpongeBob.
It's really hard to do a SpongeBob. I've tried.
I can do that, but like he just like But no, it's like SpongeBob, and he's like, I've never cooked a Krabby Patty before without the secret recipe. I don't know how. And it's like, what? Just make a burger, man. One of my favorite episodes, though.
Muscle memory alone, he should be able to put a burger together.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna find out that like there's a little SpongeBob. SpongeBob is being controlled by another thing, and that thing inside has really just been like nothing. Like it doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, it sounds like when they shoot through, they do the thing inside his brain where all the little SpongeBobs are like, "Oh my God, his brain is shutting down! Quick, shred everything!"
Yes. But one of my favorite episodes is when Plankton like gets the secret formula, because he rounds up all of his cousins, and they're all like hillbillies.
Oh yeah, I love when they show SpongeBob's family, and they're
so
just
good.
these ridiculous.
It's
and then meanwhile, like
so
Patrick's
good.
family are like these corporate, put together, nice, like mature people.
Yes. And it finds out that they're actually not his parents. Right? Yeah,
I don't remember.
That happens.
I don't.
Yeah, he gets all eager to meet his parents. They come and they're like making fun of him, and then at the end of the episode, you find out they're not his parents.
Because they start calling him like David or something.
Yeah,
they
call him
David,
something
I'm
else. I'm Patrick. And because they're treating him more like an idiot than he actually is. But there's the episode where all of Plankton's cousins come, and it's like a hoax. So they capture Mr. Krabs, and Plankton finally gets to the secret formula, and he's reading off all the stuff, and it gets to the final ingredient, and it's and it's Plankton. And so Plankton and all the cousins run away, and there's just one guy left, and it's Mr. Krabs all tied up laughing, and it's just this one guy, and I love it. But it's Mr. Krabs going, "Why aren't you running?" And the last Plankton is like, "Well, I can't read." And it's just like, and he's just standing there alone. And it's a picture. It's a picture of Plankton. And it's like, what? And then
That's the
Mr.
secret to
Krabs
the.
like scares him away, and he just runs away laughing.
That's the secret. Their language entirely is in
Is it?
pictograms. It's all pictures. It's all IKEA
Oh
instructions.
my
Just
god.
pictures and arrows.
I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised. I mean, like they're an underwater civilization, but you know,
they're all the
something.
result of nuclear testing. They're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's fine. Rock Bottom,
Uh,
another one of my favorite episodes that
oh
I
God,
quote
yes.
all the time. I don't understand what you're talking about. We've been talking about SpongeBob for
I know,
10 minutes.
This is our 19th happy 19th anniversary SpongeBob special.
SpongeBob, yes.
Apparently. So while I was locked away in my room
Oh
for
my god.
30 hours, I say room. It's an apartment. It's a whole place I'm renting. But
But
that's
you
all
were
an
just
extension
in
of my
one
bedroom.
room of the apartment.
That's very true. I was just in my living room all day.
Hey,
I played more Red Dead, and I am getting so much whiplash from this game. I am getting so much tonal whiplash from this game because it's like, oh, you're an outlaw and you steal things and you shoot people and you're not that you're kind of a bad dude. But also, I spent literally 15 minutes sitting in a theater with my ex-girlfriend watching a 3-act variety show.
Wait, in the game?
In the game. Just
What?
like ran into her. This is right after. So she like leaves, sends me a letter, and she's like, well, my dad's gone and gotten drunk again, and I think he's going to do something stupid in the city. So can you come help me follow him? And yeah, sure, whatever. I'll do that. Go and follow the guy through the streets, and I have to go and chase down. He like sells off this like brooch of his dead wife or something, and your ex-girlfriend's like, well, that's supposed to be mine. Go get it back. So chase down this stagecoach and rip these guys off of a moving stagecoach and rob a guy at gunpoint to get this brooch back. Get it back to her, and she goes, "Thank you for doing that. Hey, you want to go take in a show?"
What?
Like,
What? So it's
sure.
a rom-com. Well, not a rom-com.
Sure, I guess. So then we go and literally go into the theater and sit down. And I'm in the audience, and the show starts, and it's not a cutscene because I could have at any time canceled out of this and gotten up and walked away. God knows what I would have done to, piss her off if I did that. But yeah, that's just like there's a host, and then the first act is, what was the first act? I remember the second two. Oh God. Oh, the first act was just like a singer. So it's just like a woman comes out, band, they sing a full song about the city, the fictional city I'm in. So they obviously had to write that. And then host comes out again, introduces the second act, and it's a fire dancer. It's like a 3-minute fire dancing act. In all this time, you get the option to either heckle the act or cheer. And so, like, I'm hitting cheer, and as I'm sitting next to my ex-girlfriend, he's like, "Well, look at this hot woman. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. She's on fire." like a drunken idiot in the audience. Then she finishes up. Host comes out again and introduces the naked French dancing ladies, which they're not naked. They're in full like Victorian dresses and doing a can. But because it's 1899. Everyone's acting like the fact that you can see their ankles is like naked dancing. So then there's a full can sequence as I like watch these women do the whole and they even do the song like to the can song, the whole like dun 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 dun, the whole thing, the whole and that was it. And then it ended and we left, and she was like, "I'm glad you did that with me. I'm gonna get on the trolley and disappear from your life again for a little bit." And she's gone. And that's it.
Did you get anything for that? Like
I got
like a gun or like
nope,
a saddle or
I got their fake little their morality bar that does nothing as far as I know in this game is called, if you get honor or lose honor, and I got honor for that because I was a nice guy. This is all after about an hour after I had just gone in and shot up a plantation house to get a kid back that got kidnapped because we had stolen moonshine from these people and then shot up a whole other town of people. I go from like murdering entire towns to watching variety acts to like shooting up houses to like I'm going to go, I don't know, fishing for like 20 minutes, and then we're going to drunkenly sing around a campfire.
Well, because it's the Old West, you see.
Because it's the Old West.
What? Like, what? You You texted me about the arm amputation, and I was like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Now,
so I'm running
it's like
to a
another
mission.
level.
Yeah, I'm like running to a mission, and this guy like this will happen through from time to time. And then I was also telling you, like you don't see everything if you just do the missions in this
Yeah.
game. That even goes for like side missions. Like they only bring you to certain places. Because the other thing that's going on is there's like third layer of missions, which are called the stranger missions, which is just you run into people, and sometimes that means a mission starts and you have to go do stuff. And those are completely like I know they're not random, they're obviously scripted into the game, but like you could miss them entirely if you just don't go into this area and run into the person. So I'm like running to another mission, this guy runs past me and he's bleeding like from this giant hole in his arm,
Oh
and he
my
just drops to the
god.
ground. So I was like, well, gotta go figure out what's going on with that guy. So I go and I run to him. He's like, oh, I'm dying. I need a doctor. Okay, I throw him on my horse and I
Oh
bring
my
him to the
god.
doctor in town. And it's great because I'm running through the city. I'm like running through the city on the horse, and this guy's on the back of the horse bleeding everywhere. And I can just hear people as I'm going by them like, holy crap, what's going on with that guy? Oh my God, he's bleeding to hell. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I get into the doctor, and I have him over my shoulder, and I just kick the door in, and the doctor's like, oh my God, wait, bring him back here, bring him back here. Throws him on a chair, and then he's like, okay. And then he gives him a drug and knocks him out. And that's when he's like, okay, you can
Oh, he
leave
does
now
knock
if
him
you
out?
want.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, you can leave now if you want. You don't want to see this. And I immediately went, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What's about to happen?
Oh
So
my
I just stood
god.
there. I don't say anything. I don't actually have to trigger anything after that. This whole
Yeah.
animation would have happened if I had left the room. The game was still going to render this in the background. So I stood there and I watched him tie a rope around the guy's arm, and then he cut it off, and then he threw the arm in a bucket. And this whole thing takes like 5 minutes of me just standing in the corner watching it. Like I did nothing. I didn't touch the controller for 5 minutes while I
That's
watched this going on.
I don't what? Did you get morality for that?
No, I didn't get anything
What?
extra. I got the honor for bringing the guy to the doctor in the first place. I got
Okay.
nothing for standing there and watching the guy do it.
I
And then he
don't
turns to me, he's like, well, it's so nice of you to hang around, but he's going to be out till morning, but he'll be just fine. And that was it. He wouldn't talk to me after that.
I don't understand what this game is. It's like
Someone described it as Yeehaw Skyrim, and honestly, that might be the best description I've heard so far.
wow. Okay.
'Cause it's
All
just
right.
so much of this game is just happening whether you're there or not.
Jeez.
And it's
See,
weird because
that
so much of it won't trigger if you're not around. Like, it's not like this stuff is actually happening when you're not
Yeah,
around you, but
yeah.
it's like,
Because that would be
Script-
insane.
right.
If
But it's scripted in such a, well, I mean, theoretically, that's kind of what Skyrim did.
yeah.
There's entire schedules built into all of the NPCs for the stuff they do when you're not around and interacting with them. And this game is just like, well, we're just going to make you think that's happening, but really it only happens if you show up.
See, like that kind of stuff makes me so like if okay that kind of stuff it's not anxiety, but it just makes me feel like I'm missing something. So those are the kind of games that I cannot play because
well, yeah, and I mean, that's the other
it's
thing is that
like,
all of this stuff has
I
fail
don't-
states. Like I think I messaged you about the woman I was horse racing. Did I tell you about that
yeah,
one?
yeah,
Yeah, because I ran into her again, and this time I just declined because I didn't want it to happen again.
yeah.
But because I was like off to another mission, but I'm just like riding, and this woman just starts talking about how nice my horse is, and all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, you want to go racing?" I was like, "Sure." And she's like, "Okay," and she named a location, and there was a marker on my map, and the next thing I know, we're racing, and then we go to take a corner, and I turned just a little too tightly and ran into her.
Yeah.
And oh my God, when the horses crash in this game, it might be the funniest thing I've ever seen because they ragdoll along with you.
Oh no.
So both horses, me and this woman, just go tumbling over each other in this like ragdoll slow motion. And then we get up and she's like, "Fine, I didn't want to race with you anyway." And she gets on her horse and runs away.
Like I don't so it just seems like so you say that you just walk into things or that you just meet stuff and that there's stuff that you still haven't even seen yet and
Oh yeah.
you might not ever see it unless you go hard with this
Unless
game.
you go exploring. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like that makes me so upset or like weirded out because it's like this game is too big and there's too much going on. Like I just want to play I don't want to. Like, I just want to visit the world. I don't want to have to live in the world.
Yeah. And
I
that's
want
just,
to
I
be
mean, that's
able
just
to
it.
leave.
Rockstar wants you to live in the world. They want you stuck.
Yeah.
Because the next thing that's going to happen is they're doing an online portion of this, like they did with Grand Theft Auto 5. So
Yeah.
at some point, they're going to unlock this whole other part of the game, which is just going to be millions of people running their horses into each other to see how funny they can make it.
Yeah.
Like that's what that's going to devolve into very quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's just like I want to be able to live in a world, and I want to be able to be completely like lost in it and all of that. But there's lost in it, and then there's like I have no idea where I am. Help me, lost.
Oh,
like
I screwed up when I started this game too. So one of the things that came out right before the game came out was that they talked about how they wrote and recorded an entirely different set of dialogues if you decided to turn off the mini map on the screen. So you can set it to just be a compass, or you can turn it off entirely. And if you do that, they have written it in that NPCs will give you kind of directions so that you don't have to constantly bring the map up to see where you're going. And so I did that for about 10 minutes and I was like, well, this is insane. I'm not doing that. so I went back in the settings and I turned everything back on and I went with the smaller map and all of that. And that's been working out for me. But for the first, two chapters, I'm in like chapter 4 now. I'm in chapter 4 now, and I have been playing for like 3 weeks. Pretty certain I've already put in almost 100 hours in this game, and God knows how close I even am to finished. There's still like half the map it's blocked out that I haven't even gone to yet.
Yeah.
There's like the entirety of the map from the first game is supposedly the southern portion of this map that I haven't even touched yet. Because if I go in there, they'll shoot me because I just ran away from that area. Like the whole story is that you're running away from that part of the map. So like there's like a whole wanted thing there. But oh God, I've just lost my train of thought.
no, that's okay.
Oh, sorry. No, the compass. Yeah. So turned off the compass, turned everything back on. And so I'm playing the first third of my time with the game so far, half of my time with the game that I've played so far. And I am still, pulling up the mini map a lot and pulling up the map to figure out where I'm going because, it's weird. There's a thing on the menu that says waypoint, but I can't seem to actually leave a waypoint anywhere. And I can put on markers, but it doesn't really give me great directions. I couldn't figure out why. Eventually I go back in the settings. I had turned the GPS off.
Oh God.
So the GPS is the thing that like when you set a waypoint on the map actually highlights the road so that you know where you're going. So I played maybe 40 hours of this game, the first 40 hours of my game, just kind of screwing around with it without like having any clue of where I was actually going. Well, I was doing stuff. It's just that I was basically making my own path to things because I like got sick of pulling up the map every 5 seconds to make sure I was on the right road.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That just seems so ridiculous to me. I mean, it's bad enough that like if I don't go into a house in Pokemon, I'm afraid I'm gonna miss something.
It's like an item,
or like an item or something. But I'm trying to get through Pokemon Ultra Sun, so like I just keep walking by stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna miss something. Oh, I'm gonna miss something, and I almost did miss something. And it was like a really nice little cutscene. Like it meant nothing to the game, but it was like a nice little cutscene. And it's like I would have missed that if I did not go into this house. But like Red Dead Redemption 2 is like that times a trillion.
Spend 300 hours in this world we've created and still only see 75% of it.
That's crazy. I mean, it's interesting. It is like that is so interesting that they created that, and it's cool that they gave that detail, but like sometimes there's too much detail going on and like sensory overload.
Oh God. Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh man, it's so much. It's like the weird. It's like choice paralysis.
Yeah.
The game. It's like you can go do a million things right now, and I was like, I don't want
to though.
What do I do though?
Yeah. Oh my God. So I guess my question is, you know how to bring it up again, like Horizon Zero Dawn. You know how you'll go through and like Horizon, the way to get to things, you have to go through uncharted territory, or you have to like backtrack, or you're always moving forward in Horizon, I feel. So,
Right.
but if you but you can not do stuff in the area, but because you've been there, it'll like put little blips on the map. That's non-existent in Red Dead 2.
So, well, no, that would be the secondary. So what it is like you've got your main missions, which are like generally the people in your gang.
Yeah.
Like these are the people these are the things that are going to, once you do all of these, that's going to push the story forward.
Yeah.
And you can do them in any order you want, but you know, all that. And then there's the secondary ones, which are little white blips, and they've got like people's initials in them, and it's, you know, it might be, some of it is the stuff like, some of it is you don't get it unless you do the stranger thing. So the stranger mission thing. So
Yeah.
I just got into what is kind of the big city in the map. It's called Saint Denis. It's basically New Orleans. Like
Oh,
there's a whole,
cool.
you're essentially spending this game like in Eastern Texas, in Louisiana. They just don't call it that. But so you're in what is essentially New Orleans. And so after you kind of show up and do the first story mission there, all of a sudden there's a bunch of different question marks and stuff, which are the strangers that you can meet, which some of them will just be single story things. And then some of them will be, okay, this is going to kick off a string of side missions.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to follow those. Oh, or there's just like little ones that will pop up here and there. So that's your side missions. But
So-
it's those stranger missions that are just like, if you're in an area, you might hear someone yelling, and then you'll see the question mark pop up on your map.
Okay, but
So
then
it's
does it stay there? Like
Yeah. So like the first, I just did one of the guy who was basically inventing the electric chair. It
Oh,
did not end
nice.
well for the person he decided to try on
Jesus.
first, by the way. I saw it coming a mile away too. The second the guy was like, I'm building an electric chair, it's like, oh God, I'm going to find someone that you're going to fry horribly.
Oh god.
That's how that story has to end. So like on my map, there was just, you know, question mark in a big kind of white cloudy area
Yeah.
behind it. Somewhere in this area is where the guy is you're going to be. So meet him, do the first, like have the first conversation with him, and do the first kind of like chore for him basically. And then after that, it's after a certain amount of time, a blip with his initials will pop up somewhere
Okay.
on the map. That's where
All
you know
right.
that to that mission string is.
So it's not as ridiculous as I was picturing.
No,
I
but
kind of
it is, but it isn't. What it is that stuff is there, but then there's also literally like
just
there is
other
stuff that
things.
just as you're running, you will hear people shouting or a gun go off, and then there will be a blip on your map. Like, and that's the only way that was going to trigger is if your character happened to be in the area
In
to
the
hear that happen. Yeah.
Okay. No, still not as crazy as I thought it was. Because I 100 like for some reason what I've been seeing and hearing and all that, I just thought it was if you find stuff, you find stuff.
I mean, there is
Like
definitely
there
that
will
happening.
there will be waypoints and there will be things to guide you on the main mission, and if you start a side mission, there's going to be stuff. But other than that, like you're on your own, just find the stuff and have fun. So I thought there was like
definitely a level of that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I thought that there was nothing.
Nothing. No.
Like
Yeah,
nothing
there's
on
a
the
little
map.
bit. There is a little
Like-
bit, but it's not a lot, and it is very much because they want you to just kind of explore.
Explore. Yeah.
So like, which
Okay.
is
Oh, that's
okay. I mean,
crazy.
the first time that really paid off for me is I was exploring and I came across, because there are farmhouses and there's this like, when you think about it, this really crazy thing going on where like we think about the concept of a ghost town where it's like a town that's just
Yeah.
people used to live here and they just don't anymore.
Yeah.
And like they really hammer that home in this, where there's like shacks of houses that were abandoned where someone came to live here and then they were run off by like animals or raiders or something, or entire towns. I came across a town and I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for a mission to trigger this, because I came across a town where literally they had boarded up every house and painted things like Walking Dead style on barns that said "Plague inside, do not open." And
Huh.
like nothing has happened yet. There's just a dead town where I could go into like 2 of the 8 buildings, and I'm waiting for something to bring me there. But then there's also
Interesting.
this house where I was going out and I thought it was abandoned, so I like came up to the house to loot it, and all of a sudden this guy comes out and he's like, and this big kind of dopey guy in overalls, hillbilly type, who's like, "Oh, hey, a visitor, come on in for dinner. I'll call the missus down, we'll have dinner." I'm like, okay.
Okay, I
Sure.
don't know you.
Sure. And I was like, and even said, like, there was like that option that was like, ask a question or greet them. And then, so I
Yeah.
asked a question. He's like, oh, I'm just passing through. I don't know if I can stay for dinner. He's like, no, 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 come in. I just made up some moonshine
Oh
and
my
we'll have some
God.
steak. It's like, oh, okay. So I go in and I sit down, and then he's like, this whole kind of weird conversation of like his wife's upstairs and asking me to go get her for dinner. And so of course walk up and knock on the bedroom door, and she's like, oh, I'm indecent, hold on. It's like, okay, so this whole thing is weird. This whole thing is weird. This whole thing is
What?
weird.
I
Sit
don't.
down for dinner. My entire thought process is I don't want to lose honor by killing these people for no reason, because that's an option. It's always an option. And also, I felt weird just leaving because I was like afraid if I tried to just leave, they would pull a gun on me. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna sit down at the
I'm just
dinner
gonna be
table now.
trapped. I'm just
Yep.
gonna be trapped
So
at this
sit down.
dinner.
Yeah, so sit down at the dinner table, and of course, it's this kind of hillbilly couple, and they're very much like hillbilly couple where the woman was very much like wearing this very very nice dress, and like
Yeah.
we don't get company a lot. Of course, again, whole time her husband's sitting here in like overalls with no shirt underneath, like stereotypical hillbilly, and they're just like, yeah, eat up, and here, have a drink. We just made up the shine, and here, take a shot. Okay, I'll take a shot. I'll take another one. Uh, mm, Again, I'm
No,
afraid if I
no.
say no, you'll pull a gun on me. So take another one.
God.
And then they're just like, take one more. And at that
Jeez.
point, I'm sitting at the table, like already about to pass out. And
Yeah.
at that point, I'm like, well, I bought in this far. So I took the shot and I pass out.
Oh my
And I wake
God.
up in a freaking grave in their backyard because they had like robbed me and dragged me out to a hole in the ground and threw me out there. So I was like,
So, so you should have just said no.
so I should have said no. So
Oh my
so I was like,
God.
well, I gotta get my stuff back. So I walked back to the house
Oh
and I killed him and I
God.
robbed the house. And I'm like, well,
So like
so
all
that's
of
a thing
that
that
could have been
happened.
avoided if you just left,
If
maybe.
I had just never shown up at this house or said no.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah, that's too much.
man.
That's too much for me. That would
And
be
again,
like, I'd be like,
no
no.
mission. I have no idea if a mission ever would have brought me there. I don't know if I would have run into somebody who would have told me about this place or something,
Yeah.
but I literally just walked up to that house and it happened.
Jeez, that's crazy. I get like it
Oh,
really is like an old west simulator. Like
it really
this
is.
just
It's like,
happens. Like
oh,
I have
man.
no doubt in my mind that this stuff literally just happened like back then.
And it really is just like the whiplash of like scenes like that, or like
Yeah.
literally entire story missions that are just, oh yeah, we shot up a town. I had to break this guy
Well,
out of
it's like
prison, and then we shot up the town. And then it's just like, and during all of that, like the character you're playing, his name is Arthur. So Arthur's complaining about it happening, but not because he doesn't want to be shooting people. He's complaining because it's just kind of annoying that they have to shoot all of these people to him. But then there's also these scenes later on where like, and I think this is happening because I think every now and then I might run over some rabbits with my horse.
oh my God.
But because there's like times where you're at camp and you can sit down and talk to a couple of the women like you're in a therapy session, where he'll sit down with them and be like, I just don't know, Mary Beth. I don't know what I'm killing people for no reason, and I'm killing animals, and I don't even know why. And I just don't know why I do these things. It's like I haven't.
You and me
what are you
both,
talking about?
Arthur. You
I
and me
haven't done
both.
those things. Half the time, it's like I haven't done those things because I don't know. I haven't killed animals for no reason, except for the ones I accidentally hit that ran across the freaking road on me. And the only reason I'm shooting innocent people is because the game literally makes me. So I don't know what you're talking about.
What is that's
So it's like
this
the game wants you to feel like he's this like tortured soul for this outlaw life, and at the same time, he won't stop complaining that they have to keep going further into civilization in the story, and he wants to be out west where they can be free men, and he really likes robbing people and hurting people in some ways. Like it doesn't feel like he doesn't want to be doing these things, and yet the game wants him to also kind of feel bad and be a nice guy at the same time.
I
And it's like
can't.
pick and choose.
I
Like pick an option, Rockstar.
I can't wrap my head around this game.
I can't. I've been playing it for.
And I know. That's the crazy part. It's like you've been playing it, and you you don't know what to do with it. Me just hearing stories and being like, what? Is this a real game? This is a real game that exists.
It's a real game.
Like, oh my God, that's crazy. But that's basically what you've done with your week, is just play Red Dead Redemption 2.
We're still on that part of the show. Yes, that's basically what I've been doing for a week.
Crazy.
I also showed you, I showed you the list of hunting things, right?
Yes!
I sent you that list. That was
insane.
so there's 2 people that you can give. Again, I think I described the hunting last week, where it's you can't just get animal pelts. You have to get perfect animal pelts. So you have to find the animals, and then you have to hope they're perfect, and then you have to kill them right, and all of that. So then on top of that, they then give you 2 different places to bring the pelts to do things. You can either bring them to the cook in the camp and do camp upgrades, which, again, aside from doing camp upgrades, they're like, oh, everybody will donate more money to the camp for supplies, and morale will be up. It's like, that hasn't, I don't know what that means. I haven't seen what bad morale versus good morale looks like.
Yeah.
Or I can bring them to the trapper, who will make me new clothes. And the trapper has 1,000 things to bring them. Oh my God.
This game just sounds ridiculous. What's the point of it?
Be a cowboy.
Be a
live in that
cowboy.
life and never do anything else. Never leave your house because you're too busy being a cowboy.
Maybe that's Rockstar's plan. It kind
really
of worked
is.
for you, because you didn't leave your house for 3
Very
days.
true. That's very true. I'm also, to be fair, when I needed a break from Red Dead, I went back to Pokemon Yellow for a little bit, just to get take my mind off things. And I'm at the Elite Four in Pokemon Yellow, and oh my God, are they tough? I still haven't gotten past the freaking first one.
Are you nuzlocking that, or is it?
No, I'm not.
It's just
the problem is that I put all of my effort into my team consists of Pikachu, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, a Dodrio, and a Graveler.
Nice.
Which feels like a great spread of just the original kind of 6 main types of the game. None of them are strong against ice.
No.
And they're all weak against it. So I can kind of get through the first 3 of the 5 Pokemon they throw at me before they just completely tear through my team every time.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying.
But yeah, that's been my.
That's been your week, huh? I haven't played anything. I don't know how to follow that up. That is just so ridiculous. I saw the Grinch. Yeah.
I didn't know the Grinch existed till a week ago.
Really?
And then it was out.
Good
and then
for
it was number
you.
1 over the weekend.
Good for
I
you.
don't know how I missed it. But somehow I was like, oh, there's a new Grinch movie? And then all of a sudden this week they're like, oh, Grinch premieres at number 1. I was like, wait, it's out?
That's impressive that you're able to stay away from it. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about the original Grinch or anything like that.
The story. I mean, I like the animated feature. Everybody does.
Yes.
I mean, come on. And then I actually, because I don't watch it often enough, I have a certain fondness for the Ron Howard one, just because it came out when I was very young, so
with
young
Jim
enough
Carrey.
to. Yeah, I was young enough to be okay, yeah, this is great. And then I don't watch it often enough to be disillusioned by that. The last time I've watched that movie was probably 6 years ago now. So it's fine.
So I grew up watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas every Christmas. It's one of my mom's favorite Christmas stories. It's one of her so it's always taped every year. We have it on DVD. I think we have it on VHS, and we tape it on the DVR every year now. So it is a big deal in our family. So when the Jim Carrey one, which I did not know that was a Ron Howard movie.
Oh yeah.
You just blew my mind a little bit.
It's the only time Clint Howard works anymore, so of course it was a Ron
true.
Howard.
Yeah. Because I refer to it as the Jim Carrey one.
Jim Carrey one, yeah.
So it's
That makes
just
sense.
so that came out, and when that came out, that's 2002, right? So when that came out, I was so against it. I was no.
I love the fact
you can't.
I love the fact I was 13 when that came out, and my brain was oh yeah, sure, why not? And I that you, 5 years younger than me, could look at that and be this is an affront to Dr. Seuss.
I mean, it's probably my earliest memory of being just having like disdain for a movie that is coming out. Like, but it came out and I saw it and I remember parts of it, but I just remember being like, no, this movie does not exist. This movie is done. I am done with you. We're done. You don't exist. But then I had to go through like middle school and high school and college, like, and every one of my I never heard a person, like, no one agreed with me that it was not a good movie, and and no one I talked to didn't like it. So everybody, like, during Christmas time, we would go around the room and like share Christmas traditions and blah blah blah, and everybody like would talk about the Jim Carrey Grinch, and I'm just sitting there in the back of the room like, what is wrong with you people? Like, have you not seen the Boris Karloff? What is wrong with you?
I think, to be fair, that has come around and you are now in the majority on that. And I think The Cat in the Hat had a lot to disillusion people on that one.
Oh yeah. That movie's terrifying.
I think Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat really made people turn around and really take a hard look at Jim Carrey and the Grinch. Yeah. Because I mean, you're right. Like, I remember for years just thinking, okay, that it came out. I thought it was fine, and I watch it every now and then. It was never a movie that I like had to go back to and watch 10 times. But I had no strong feelings about it.
There are people who
seem to have strong feelings about it now.
There are people who say it's their favorite Christmas movie, and they're talking about the Jim Carrey one, and it's like, I can't even. It's like, it's kind of like Red Dead. I can't wrap my head around it. And so we see the new Grinch. And I'm nervous because, again, it's like, this is something that I like is so precious. Like, why would you touch it? Why would you change it? Why, like, I get evolving stuff, but still, like, it's the Grinch. Like, you can't add or change to the Grinch, So
it works as it is, like, as a short story.
Yeah, why do you have to add background? Why does it? Yeah. Why do you need to add background to it? Why do you need to add all these characters? Like, it's always been strange to me that they, that it's been recreated 2 times now. So I go into it like very, very cautious, and it starts and it's like, it wasn't as bad as I expected it. It was very enjoyable. There are elements to it that really worked, but I think they would have been better as like a separate Christmas movie. Like, there's a lot of Cindy Lou Who and like her gang of friends.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the brothers were talking about this on Say Report today, so I was listening to it, and Devin was describing this movie, and I was like, where did they even get this idea of this like Little Rascals-esque heist that is being pulled off in this movie?
So it's like, that's a great concept. Kids trying to kidnap Santa Claus, like, great concept. Why do you gotta throw it into the Grinch? Like, why did you feel? It's just strange. It worked. It somehow worked. It was still very enjoyable. But, like, and then Devin brings up all these points about how the Jim Carrey, like, I hate that I need to watch the Jim Carrey one again, because he had brought up points about, like, the motivation behind stealing Christmas in the Jim Carrey one as opposed to the new animated one. And he's like, yeah, if you took the motivations from the Jim Carrey and put them with the movie that is this new animated Grinch, you'd have like the perfect Grinch movie. And he's explaining that, and I'm like, damn, do I need to watch this movie that I have just given so much disdain to my entire life? Like, oh God, I do. I need to give it another chance now. Like, I'm an adult. I need to do that. But yeah, I don't know. It was enjoyable, though. It was still very enjoyable. I'm still going to watch the original. The original is still always going to be number 1 for me.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I was very surprised by it.
Good. I mean, that's good, though. Like,
yeah,
it's better. It is always better to either go in with no expectations or
Yes.
even lower expectations and then be pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
I
This week's lesson: never have hope, everybody.
never. Oh
It's about your
God.
Christmas movies, especially.
It's refreshing not to leave the movie theater angry. And I was afraid. I say that like I leave the movie theater angry all the time. I don't. I should take that back.
No, but
But
I get what you mean,
you
though.
know,
I get
like
exactly what you mean by
going to
that.
see a movie and leaving angry is like the worst feeling. Is one of the worst feelings in the world, I think. Because it's like you had to sit there for 2 hours. It's like you're lucky if it's an hour and a half. Like you had to spend, I don't know, 12, 13 bucks. Like, and you just had like the worst
or
time.
in my case, you had to spend $30 on gas. You spent like
Yes, yeah,
$20 on
exactly.
drinks. You got yourself some dinner. You had to drive back home. Yeah.
And it's like, well, that movie sucked, and I had to do all of this on top of it.
I'm so glad that
So
hasn't really happened yet for me. Now that I
yeah,
think
no,
about it,
that's good.
that's a lucky track
It's
record for
good,
me.
right? Yeah. And so I try not to leave angrily, but I was afraid that I was gonna be leaving angry after the Grinch. So I like had to like mentally prepare myself. And then, but you know, I cried. I was happy by the end of it, so that's good. So
Good.
it did good. It did good. Boys and
Good on you,
girls, it did
Illumination.
good.
Good
And
on you,
then,
Illumination, for continuing this
well,
weird
that's the
track
other.
record of
That's
good movies you have.
yeah. That's the other thing is that it gave me hope in the beginning because it was Illumination doing it, and not like Disney or something like that or Pixar. Like Illumination, DreamWorks, like um, Leica.
Leica, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are like my 3 favorite animation companies. So, though, like, you know, any one of them, I think, would have taken it and done it well. So, but Illumination, like, they know how to make an animated movie. They know how to,
And they know their audience too. Like
Yeah,
they don't have
exactly.
that highfalutin
Mm-hmm.
uh air that Pixar has gotten, where it's like we're gonna
Yes.
get nominated for an Oscar no matter what,
Yeah.
so we'll just put out what. Okay, anyway,
Whatever we
Just, like,
want.
pretend
No,
my
I.
pretend soapbox like I don't watch Pixar movies.
Well, that's like, yeah. You're not wrong though. Yeah, so yeah, that's my little thing about Grinch. Oh, I saw Die Hard on the big screen, which was really cool.
Oh,
I love Die Hard.
oh, maybe that's what I Alamo has to be playing that sometime soon. I
Oh, that'd be
gotta watch
cool.
out for that because
Yeah.
they're definitely that's definitely a theater that will be like, this is a great Christmas movie. We're playing this at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It is one of my it's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Like it's just it's so good.
Nothing blows my mind more than to think about the fact that like that's the beginning of Alan Rickman.
Right?
Like
I didn't know
every time I
that.
watch that and be like, I cannot believe that this is you coming out the gate, Alan
Yes.
Rickman.
I
It's Hans Gruber.
I found that out when I watched it because they do trivia at the beginning before the movie and like facts and stuff, and it says how it was Alan Rickman's like Hollywood debut and feature film debut, and I was like, what?
Yeah, he had done like BBC like
Yeah.
miniseries and stuff
So
before
like,
that or something.
wa-
Like he had
it was like watching it with fresh eyes because you're like now really watching Alan Rickman more than you ever were before. And like I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, like I get why you are a huge were a huge sensei. You are fantastic. Like I never like I guess I took it for granted how good you are, but like knowing that this was your first Hollywood movie and like you were able to pull that off, like I don't know, it's cool. It's cool to pull off that kind of character, like in a I don't know what just happened upstairs. I am sorry.
I don't I didn't hear it, so I don't know if it made the recording.
I don't think it did, but that's why there was a little pause because I just heard like 3 people scream in pain.
Oh God.
And
Oh God. So obviously the rest of the family is watching something.
something, I don't know. Anyways, little derailment over. But yeah, it really gave me like this newfound like, oh my God, Alan Rickman, like you are a treasure. Well, you were a treasure. Sorry.
Still is. He's still a treasure.
Still is a treasure. But yeah, and then I think we need to take the last 10 minutes to talk about what?
Yes. Talk about what? I'm
Detective
very
Pikachu?
excited. Yes, I was so hoping you'd say that. Okay. Oh my god. I was like, I watched that trailer 3 more times today.
Did you really?
Because I can't fathom what I'm looking at every time I look at it. It blows my mind.
I know.
I love
so
it.
I did not watch Toy Story 4 trailer, so we might have to talk about that later. But let's take the time.
Here's the thing. Okay, here's my very quick thing about Toy Story, about the Toy Story 4 trailer, and I mean, it's a teaser. It doesn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
And everything that's about to come out of my mouth is complete conjecture, everybody. I am worried because I think they're going to try and explain why toys are alive.
Oh, they.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that's what Toy Story 4 is.
Because it's like
it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, because it's kind of like one of the, have you seen Toy Story 3? I'm assuming you have.
Of course I have, yes.
Okay.
I've cried like the rest of the world.
Yeah. If you have not seen Toy Story 3, everybody, quick spoiler alert, they're left at a preschool at the end because Andy is in college now and doesn't need toys anymore.
Are they left at a preschool or they're just left with a girl? I don't think
they're left. I thought they were left with the preschool.
No, I think they're just left with Molly or Holly or whatever her name is.
Oh, well, anyway, they're left with a small child.
They're left with a child.
So basically, she makes a toy out of like pipe cleaners and like sticks and stuff, and it comes to life. Mm-hmm. And so I'm pretty certain it's going to have the same kind of existential crisis that like Buzz was having in Toy Story 1, where he was like, "Oh no, I'm Buzz Lightyear.
I'm not a toy. What are you talking about?"
The problem is that this is not a toy that was built off of an existing property, so I have no idea. How is it alive? What does it think it is if it doesn't think it's a toy? Why do I want to think about this Toy Story? I have gone 23 years without having to have that.
Yeah,
my brain can't handle the idea that there might be lore to the Toy Story universe.
Yeah, why? Like, I don't understand the idea of like we need to explain stuff because we have nothing else to do. We have no other creative ideas or anything. Let's explain why these toys come to life. No,
I don't know what
that takes away all the magic that is Toy Story.
Here's the thing I'm really afraid of, and I don't want to bring anyone down or pepper anyone's idea of Toy Story 4.
I think I saw what you're gonna say. I think I know what you're saying.
Dear God, if somehow this has something to do with like dead people
souls.
Inhabiting toys, I'm going to scream.
I'm going to be done. I will pretend that I will pretend.
I'm so afraid that movie, because it's a Pixar movie, which means it has to start out sad now. Mm-hmm. I'm really afraid that the start of that movie is that this little girl's dad dies or something. Yeah. And she like makes a toy that looks like him. And then all of a sudden his soul is in the spork that she made a toy out of. I don't want to think about that.
I honestly might walk out. Like, it might be the first Pixar movie I walk out on if that's the case. Because, like, why? Why do you have to give an explanation? Also, why does it have to be, like, the saddest, like, thing in the world? But, like, it's also kind of happy. But at the same time, it's not like she ever gets to interact with the live toy. So it's not like she knows. Like, no, Zach, you're ruining everything.
The only thing that will salvage that for me is that if thinking about this is where my brain has been for the last 2 days, by the way. It's this and Detective Pikachu. This is all I've thought about. If you think about the idea of Buzz, like, thinking he was, in fact, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Yeah.
So, like, it could be that the Spork toy, I don't know, they don't have a name yet, so the Spork might not actually be the dead soul of the father, but it could be if I like it. By the way, this is the story until I've otherwise been. This is my story. This is the story until someone tells me differently. It could be just the simple act of this is supposed to be my dad, so the toy comes to life and just thinks it is, which is even more depressing. To be like, oh, by the way, you're not actually this little girl's dad. You just, for whatever toy magic, has decided you think you are.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, if it is like, I don't know. Let's talk about Ryan. Let's talk about Detective Pikachu.
Deadpool Pikachu for a second, because that's all I could think of. Like I said, I've watched the trailer a bunch of times now, and I can't. My brain can't put together Ryan Reynolds' voice coming out of Pikachu's mouth every time I look at it. I can't put them together.
I am stupid excited for this.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
Like,
I'm gonna love this movie. I'm all in for this movie. I want to see it
Yes,
now, and
yes, I want it
buy
to
it.
be
I want to
out.
buy 10 tickets for opening night.
But like so I didn't realize that it was gonna be Ryan Reynolds, and then I saw people saying like it's just his regular voice. So I watched the trailer before I went to bed last night, which like weird,
So weird dreams after
weird,
that.
some weird dreams. Um, but so I watched the trailer, and it's Ryan Reynolds' voice, but like it works for me. I can totally picture Pikachu having like this regular voice because it's not. It's just like an internal voice.
Right. I
Like
think
it
that's the other thing
makes
that's throwing me off
sense.
is that so the other thing that's weird about this is that they announced this movie when the game came out.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even wait for the game to sell yet, and they announced this movie, and it is the same exact story as the game. Like they're not even like it's not even like
Oh,
it's the same
really?
universe. It is literally the same story as the game.
I was gonna say I need to play the game now.
So, so it's like, but like the idea that it's like, oh, by the way, everyone else in the universe is hearing exactly what you hear when you watch the Pokemon show and the
Yep.
Pokemon movies of just them saying their own names over and over. But for whatever reason, the kid from Jurassic World
He
can
is from
hear.
more than Jurassic World, though.
That's the only thing I remember him from.
Really?
It's the only thing I ever saw.
He's in Paper Towns, which
I
like
never saw it.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
I did see Paper
yes,
Towns. You're
okay,
right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna blow your mind, right? Right? So in Paper Towns, when they're about to go into the scary part of the abandoned like souvenir shop, the three boys start singing the Pokemon theme song, and
Beautiful.
it is the best scene
Perfect.
in Paper Towns. Best
Oh,
scene,
man.
hands down, in
But,
Paper Towns. Because yes,
um,
no song gets you pumped up than the Pokemon theme song.
Oh man, and I just love.
And now he's
that-
gonna be in this.
I just love that it's just like, oh, by the way, this is just a live action movie with a really crazy premise of like
Yes.
this detective story about his missing father. There's a car explosion in a
Yep.
Pokemon trailer.
Yep.
A car
Yep.
explodes.
It. First of all, I just need to say that Pikachu is so fluffy.
They put like Pixar level hair physics
Yes.
on these Pokemon.
He looks so fluffy, and I just want him. But anyway,
Oh my
but like
god.
I did not even think like. For some reason, when I was thinking about Detective Pikachu, I for some reason just thought it was going to be Pikachu. Like I did not think of the other Pokemon that could pop up or show
Right,
up
because like and
until
I think before the game ever came out, people were like so confused because the trailer for even the video game was just Pikachu in a very like not furry like rendering of just like we
Yes.
made a 3D model of Pikachu
yeah.
with real people, and so people were like, oh, is this must be what the movie's going to be too, because look at these trailers for the
Yeah.
game. And then when the game came out, people stopped talking about Detective Pikachu largely, so it kind of went out of my brain. So I didn't really think about it, like you said, until this trailer came out. And it's like, oh no, this is just like, this is taking place in one of the regions
Yeah.
in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like,
Like it didn't even occur to me that there would be other Pokemon there until it cuts to the shot of all the Bulbasaur, and I was like,
yeah.
oh my, and then it's him and Charizard. Like I was like, oh my god, this is
Like
insane. This is
Jigglypuff
beautiful.
looking like angry Jigglypuff.
Like Jigglypuff just looking adorable as like so angry and
Oh,
also
man.
very fluffy. Like I am stupid excited. I just love the like inflection and the movements of Pikachu. And it's like it's just so adorable, and it's Ryan Reynolds' voice, and it's like it works perfectly. It works so well. I just love when he pops out and he's like, I know you can't understand me right now, but if you don't calm down, I will electrocute you. And he just like points to his tail, and then like the mannerisms that the Pikachu has is great. It's adorable, and I'm so excited.
Oh man!
I'm so
And they have what is
excited.
one of my one of the dumbest tropes that I absolutely love, and I know exactly where this love comes from. Did you ever see the Tom and Jerry movie? The like musical
No.
movie where they talk.
When they talk, I've probably seen like parts of it, bits and
Okay.
pieces.
So the really dumb writing conceit to that is one of them says something and then the other I forget who starts the conversation, but all of a sudden Tom is like, wait a second, you can talk? Jared's like, of course I can talk. You can talk? Why didn't I know
Yes,
you could talk? It's like,
I've
well,
heard
because we
that.
never bothered saying things to people before.
Yep.
And it's like that's like the dumbest, easiest way to like put voice acting into something. And the fact that that's in this trailer.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you can't understand me. And I can understand you. Yay, you can understand me? Oh, thank God. I've been wanting to talk to
I've been
someone.
so lonely. I also love like the part where he's like, you can hear him talk, right? I like that we're just talking about this trailer and like quoting
Yes.
it. The fact that
Oh
we are
my God.
quoting a trailer for Detective Pikachu at this moment in time is ridiculous. But when he's like, you can hear him, right? Like you can hear him talk, and then it's just Pika, Pika,
They
Pika.
can't understand me, kid. I
It's like
told you.
then they're not gonna hear me. I am adorable. They're not gonna hear me though.
It's like you
It's
had
like-
to take a second. Like, I know I am. Thank you.
That little smile, like I can't get enough of that little open mouth smile that he does. I'm stupid excited. Like Pokemon Let's Go,
Oh, man.
stupid excited.
And then at the
Detective
same
Pikachu,
time-
stupid excited.
At the same time, Psyduck
Same
looks
level.
friggin' terrifying.
Right? Like, but it's
like
somehow
he looks like Howard the Duck. It looks like they took the Howard the Duck model and just flattened his head a little bit so it would be in the Psyduck shape.
Oh my god. But it is somehow like it's what you would expect a Psyduck to look like in real life. Like, yeah, I'd see that. I could see that walking down the street having its terrible headache for all of its life.
that's-
You poor,
'cause
poor
you also know-
thing.
You also know that, like, unless they've decided that the Justice Smith is the actor's name, right?
Yes, yeah,
I have no
that's his
idea what his name is in this trailer. Watched it 5 times. Don't think they ever say his name.
I think it's like Roy. I
um,
want to say Roy. It's not.
But like, unless I'm still trying to figure out if Pikachu's the only one that he understands, because the only other Pokemon they interact with in the whole trailer is Mr. Mime, so he doesn't say anything. So like, can he hear all Pokemon or just Pikachu?
I hope that we get to hear Bulbasaur talk or an Eevee, because that my day will be made if I get to hear a Bulbasaur talk.
Oh
And,
man!
like-
The funny thing is, the second I watched the first time I watched that trailer, that scene happened. I went, well, Dale has to see this. Like, I can't.
Yes.
It's like there's eight Bulbasaur like trotting through a river. There's no way that I can't let her not see this. Hold on.
Well, like I saw that and I was like, my eyes like just widened, and I was like, ooh, yes, yes. I want a Bulbasaur to talk so bad. Oh man, yeah, so excited. So it's the same level of excitement that I have for Pokemon Let's Go, which is coming out on Friday, and I'm so
Which
excited.
means that's like all next week, everybody. Just strap in.
Yeah,
because
just get ready now. Like if you don't care about Pokemon, you can skip next week because that's all I'm gonna be talking about.
by the way, I have not asked you this, and we're on the air. Now's the perfect time. Wait, maybe I did ask you this.
it's
You
fine.
are getting Eevee, obviously.
No,
So I'll be
no.
getting Pikachu, just so that we could. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we had that coordinated.
Of course, I'm not getting Eevee. What the hell is wrong with you? Yes, I'm obviously getting Eevee.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Oh man.
I just hope it comes because I ordered it. We ordered it through Amazon. So we've had some problems with ordering games through Amazon, and they don't come on release date.
Yeah, because they probably ship them on release date, which means it's another
Yeah.
however many. Yeah.
But it
Yep.
says it's like if you want it on release date, do the free
Oh, yeah.
2-day shipping, and if you have Prime, that's what you get. Like that's already your option. So it should be here on Friday. But it's probably not going to be. So if you
That's
get
why my Switch is strictly digital. God help me if I
Hey, I
ever
mean,
break it.
so like
I'm paying
if you,
$4 a month. I should be able to re-download my games if that ever happens.
expect a text from me, either with a sad face or a like very ecstatic face.
Oh man, this is a crazy week too because Fallout
It's
76 is getting
it's
ready to download right now.
it's
Pokemon comes
Spyro.
out.
Like
Spyro just dropped.
it's Spyro 76 and Pokemon, and then
And actually a very good Tetris game. I just downloaded Tetris
Yep,
Effect.
Tetris is
Oh my
happening.
god!
And
I
then
wish I had VR to play that game, but that game is this is the first time I've like bought and sat down and played a Tetris game in a very long
oh
time.
really?
Talk
Oh,
about
wow.
a game that's like sensory overload because it's all like music and flashing lights and things are changing on
Oh.
you, and at the same time it's just like it's a very zen experience to like sit there and try and lock into that.
You know my experience with Tetris, so that's just a null. Darksiders is also coming out like within the next couple of weeks, and Battlefront 5, like not Battlefront,
Oh,
Battlefield,
Battlefield.
5 is
Yeah,
coming
well,
out.
we're also
like
we're into the holiday season.
it's
Like
like
everything
it's
wants to drop before Black Friday
insane. Yes.
thing.
Yeah. So, but this week,
Ugh.
my friend, he's like, yeah, I don't know. Over the weekend, he's like, I just want these games, and I have to wait a couple more days because he got Spyro,
Yeah.
76 and Pokemon. So I like know he is waiting right now, just be like 76, 76, 76, 76.
That's a game that I
crazy.
like. That's a game that's crazy because it's going to be completely different from every Fallout game that
Yeah.
I've played, and also like I'm ready for it because well, I'm ready for it because I get to play it the same way I love playing online multiplayer games, which is I don't want to play with other people. I just like the idea of other people being around.
Yeah, I got you.
Have you ever seen Clerks?
Not
my-
fully. I've seen
my-
all the Clerks animated though.
That's okay. That's amazing. I love Clerks animated. So there's a line in Clerks where they're talking about going to a funeral, or like someone they went to like high school with died or something, and Randall is like, no, really, we should go to this thing. And Donna's like, why would you want to go to this thing? You hate people. And Randall's response is, but I love gatherings. And that's that. I think ever since I have seen Clerks, that is the line that has stuck out the most to me.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing when I was like really into Minecraft, and like I would go on public servers, but I'd never interact with people. I joined a public server, and then I got as far away from everybody as possible because I liked the idea that there were people around, and I liked seeing the little notifications come up to kind of see what people were doing. Nothing's funnier than like kind of doing your own thing, and then a little message comes up that says, "Oh, Sharkatar has died by falling into the lava." I'm like, where are they? What are they doing? I wonder how that happened.
Thanks for giving my
was
screen,
literally
my
the
my
first-
gamer tag out there. By the way,
Literally the first thing that came to mind, and quite frankly, you didn't have to say it was yours.
yeah, but like I
so
did.
so like that's all I can think of when I'm playing Fallout 76 is like I want to go into this world and I just want to see how the hell I play this game dealing with other human beings on the other end.
Yeah,
Like,
I gotcha. That's funny. I didn't want someone to listen to this podcast and be like, "Man, Sharkatar, that's a cool name. I'm taking it." Sorry to mine.
I would assume. First off, the first time you ever told me about it, I thought you said Shark Guitar. There is still a friend request out there for someone named that on PSN because that was the first thing I typed into PlayStation.
That's fantastic.
I looked at it the other day because I was like clearing something off of my notifications and I was like looking at my friend request. And I was
think
like,
that
oh, it
it's
still says
supposed
that
to be
that's out
that.
there. They never accepted it though.
Yeah. People think that it's supposed to be like a shark mixed with a guitar, and it's not. It's just a character.
There you go.
Yep.
I mean, my name is a really bad fake Polish version of my name and my last name stuck together. So
Yeah, I mean it works though. Zarisky.
it's just gonna figure out how to spell it sometimes.
Well, I think on that note, I think we've run our chord.
We have. I do want to say because the guys didn't get this on, and I'm sure they will talk about it next week. But I know they recorded before the news came out and this happened. But I think I speak for both of us when I say our hearts go out to the family of Stan Lee, as well as the fan base and other Marvel fans and stuff. As we've spent entire hours talking about Spider-Man and Infinity War, and all of that, like. Stan Lee and Marvel are the reason we have comic book anything as prominent as we do now. The fact is the last thing that I saw Stan Lee do was when I replayed Spider-Man this weekend and he had his cameo in that. which it's gonna be weird watching Marvel movies without him popping up in the background somewhere.
He still might, to be
I mean, he
honest
still
with
might.
you.
Whatever. I mean, to be fair, he might have filmed his one for Infinity. I'm sure he filmed his one for Avengers 4 already, and God knows what they will
What other
CGI
ones?
into anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just as fans of Marvel as we have been, as vocal as we have been, that's a huge bummer, and yeah, it's just not going to be the same without him. But I think it's only fair to just kind of say very quickly how much the stuff that he created has meant to kind of the whole kind of nerd community for many years, and just in even non-nerd movie fans and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's gonna. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, yeah, that's fine.
So on that note, in Stanley's honor, we will all go grab some ice cream.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitter at sayreport, as well as Sayreport Jr.
There you go.
We're the juniors. At Sayreport Jr. You can follow us on YouTube, also at Sayreport Jr. You can follow us individually. I am at Zerwisky.
And I am at Dale's Brain.
And yeah,
Finger guns is what I just did at nothing.
Excelsior, take it away, Liz.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowik. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.